I'm going to go dot dot slash. Now remember we're up here. I want to go into CSS, so I hit CSS slash and then style.css, which is our endpoint, it's our final destination. So this is pretty much your basic link tag. This is how it works. You have all of your stuff here and you created it. And from there you can go ahead and pretty much do whatever you want. So right here, I have my style sheet linked and everything's working. But we don't actually know if it works yet. So in the next video, we're actually going to be going through and testing our style sheet. I'm going to show you a few ways that you can do that. All right, let's move on. So today I'm going to be showing you how you can test your CSS style sheets. So we've already created the file and linked it, but now we're actually going to go ahead and test it because we don't know if this is working or not. So obviously we don't know anything about CSS yet. We don't know about selectors or properties or how to do anything with them. But I just want you to keep this in mind so that when you know how to do them, it becomes very easy to test these style sheets. So for a style sheet to work, we need all of the properties that are in this file to appear on the page. So the easiest way we can test it is just by writing a random obvious property that's going to change the way the website looks. If it's not working, then we know that something's wrong with our link. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a property here. Now, you don't know how to do any of this. So don't worry about it. We're going to learn how to do all of this later. But what you want to do pretty much is just create a random property. You can go ahead and copy this on for now. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page and you can see that this is bright red. Now, if I go ahead and make the link wrong, so if I, for example, remove a letter, you can see that it's still white, which means that this isn't working. So this is pretty much the easiest way that you can test your style sheet if it's working. It's just writing some random obvious properties. Don't make them completely non-visible. You want to make sure that you can actually see the difference on the page. And then you want to go ahead and refresh it. And if it's working, you will know that the style sheet is linked properly. All right, let's move on. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about CSS selectors. I'm also going to be going through what they do and what types of selectors there are. So you're probably wondering what a selector actually is, because we haven't actually talked about this at all, and it's pretty much one half of everything that you do in CSS. So as you know, you have two different documents. You have your HTML document, which is kind of your structure, gives all of the different text and content of the page, and then you have your CSS document, which is going to be for all the styling. Now, because the two documents are kind of disconnected, you can't just go and type random things and have them appear where you want them. You need a way to actually assign these styles and properties to elements on the page. So we do this with something called selectors. So a selector is pretty much a way of grabbing an element from an HTML document and then styling it. So it's kind of like a target in a way. There are many different types of selectors and they all work in different ways and are used for different purposes. So I'm going to be going through 3 with you in this video. So the first one is the element selector. The element selector is the most basic of all of them. Pretty much what you do is you find the name of the tag that you want to select or target. So in this case, it would be the paragraph tag or the P tag. And then you have the selector here. So pretty much how a selector works is you just type out the selector and then you have curly braces and then you have your properties. We'll go with this in much more depth towards the end of this section. So you go through and you select, you type out your tag name, and pretty much what that's going to do is select all of the elements on the document with that tag name. So there we go. That is the first one. The next is the class selector. So the class selector is very similar to the element selector, except it goes by class name. So you can see here that we have some class attributes here where we assign the class. Don't worry, we'll go through with this in the next video. But you can see we assign a class to these values, and pretty much all we have to do to reference this is type dot, which is the class prefix for CSS, and then the name of the class, and then again the properties. So you can actually use this, the reason that we use classes over things like element selectors is because you can apply this class to specific items and it's only going to style those specific items. So for example, maybe if you had a subtitle and you only wanted to style that subtitle, you would go through and actually apply that class to your subtitle, your element, whether it's a paragraph or a header, and from there you're going to go through and add it. So there we go. The next